When Michael and his wife returned to town for the birth of their child, my world quietly began to unravel. "Please leave," my mother-in-law said coldly. "Michael and his wife will be moving in within 3 days." "Me? Leave?" I asked, stunned. "Why?" "You've outlived your purpose. We don't need another mother in this house. Pack your things. Be gone by tomorrow." Her words cut deeper than I expected, though deep down, I had always known I was never truly accepted. I was a wife, never a daughter to them. "I let you experience motherhood. Be grateful," she sneered. "You're barren. Simon's tired of you too. We owe you nothing." "Even Simon?" My throat tightened. If this was a scheme between my mother-in-law and Michael, then I had no reason to play the dutiful wife anymore. She lit this fire. Let her and this house deal with the flames. I was done protecting what never protected me. "My name is Anna Thompson. I'm 45. I live with my husband Simon and his mother in a well-located apartment near the station." Simon, 8 years older than me, was recently promoted and had insisted on this large, expensive apartment. It felt like a fresh start at first. He was a divorce when we met through a friend. I was drawn to his steady presence. When I shared my infertility due to a past illness, he didn't waver. He had a son, Michael, from his first marriage. "I know it's a lot to ask, to live with my son and mother," he said, "but I'll make sure you're happy." To give me breathing space, Simon had us move to a roomy apartment. "Michael's turning 10. Mom handles most things. You won't have to do much," he assured. Michael's father had relied heavily on his own parents after the divorce. His father had since passed in an accident, leaving his mother as Michael's sole caregiver. From the start, Michael avoided eye contact. I assumed he was shy, caught between ages, and gave him space. As long as I was accepted into the family, I thought I'd be okay. My mother-in-law seemed refined and polite when we first met. I thought we'd get along. "Simon comes home late," she said. "I'll keep making dinner. You handle laundry and cleaning. Deal?" So I switched from full-time pharmacy work to part-time. I returned home late, but dinner was always ready. We rarely ate together. They dined before I came home. I got used to it. This was our family style, I told myself. But it was never quite right. "Michael's school has an event before summer, right?" I once asked. "Let's all go cheer him on." Michael hesitated. "We'll go," my mother-in-law interrupted. "Just Simon and me. No need for you to come." I thought she was just being considerate. "I can take time off," I insisted. "Let's all go." "You don't need to. You're just Simon's wife. Michael's real family is just Simon and me." The sting of that moment stayed with me. When I told Simon, he sighed. "Mom's too attached to Michael. She probably thinks you're replacing her. I'll talk to her." But nothing changed. I started attending school events, but Michael kept his distance. My mother-in-law made sure of it, always wedging herself between us. Later, I found out she had been poisoning his mind against me. She said she'd be happier if Michael weren't around. She told him, "She's manipulating your dad." Any child would believe that if it came from a trusted guardian. It explained Michael's coldness. After high school, Michael moved out to live with his girlfriend and married her quietly a year later. Once he left, my mother-in-law stopped cooking entirely. Her new hobby? Picking me apart. Every evening, I returned home exhausted, only to find her sitting at the table, waiting to be served. "You're so slow. At this pace, we'll be here all night," she'd mutter as I cooked. I was never great at cooking, mostly because I had once relied on her. Now, she used that weakness as a weapon. Despite my exhaustion, I still managed to cook every night, but no matter what I prepared, my mother-in-law had something nasty to say. "This tastes awful." "I'm sorry. I really tried." "You have no sense of flavor, Anna." Thank goodness Michael never had to eat this garbage. She never offered to cook herself. It wasn't about the food. She just wanted something to criticize. The complaints didn't stop there. "Why's the laundry full of wrinkles?" "You missed the corners again. Vacuum properly." "Honestly, were you raised by wolves?" Every comment came with a sigh and a look of disdain. "I don't know how you managed to hook Simon. You're hardly charming." And her favorite jab? "If you hadn't shown up, Michael would have never left." Maybe she was heartbroken after he moved out. Maybe it was some twisted version of empty nest syndrome. I told myself that. Tried to endure it. But everything escalated the day Sarah, Michael's wife, announced she was pregnant. It was like a switch flipped. My first grandchild, Michael's baby. I can't wait. Michael had asked her if Sarah could give birth here. Sarah's family lived far away, so of course she said yes. She was ecstatic. The very next day, she was deep in prep mode, cleaning Michael's room, buying baby supplies, drafting shopping lists like she was planning a royal birth. Naturally, I was dragged into it. Anna, I vacuumed. You do the windows and floors, and wax them tonight. We're going crib shopping this weekend. Coming home from work to clean and wax floors? Still, I kept my mouth shut. But then she started asking for money. Baby gear piled up like we were opening a daycare. Anna, withdraw some cash. We need more things for the baby. Again, maybe we should wait and let Sarah pick some of this out. She froze, eyes narrowing. Of course, you wouldn't care. You're not related by blood. Cold and selfish. That's not fair. I just thought Sarah might want to choose. When would you need to choose baby things? That one stung. I went silent. She stormed off to her room without another word. The next morning, she didn't come out. Simon, heading off for a business trip, called through her door. Try not to upset Mom. She's just excited. You're worried too, right? I am. But we can't just blow through our savings. His expression soured. So my salary's not good enough now? That's not what I meant. He left in a huff. It always ended this way when we talked about money. We've been married 13 years. I saved every extra rupee of my part-time salary. Simon always said it was mine to use. But when his company started to struggle, I quietly began covering rent, while he handled utilities and groceries. We never told his mother. Appearances mattered more than truth. Feeling guilty, I went home early to apologize. She was already sitting at the dining table, expression blank. I'm sorry, I said. Maybe I overstepped. She said nothing for a moment, then delivered the blow. Michael and Sarah are coming back for the birth. You need to move out. We don't need a second mother figure. What, you're asking me to leave? Yes, you've been unnecessary for some time now. Pack up and be gone by tomorrow. I stood frozen. I had never truly belonged here. But this was outright exile. You barren failure, she hissed. We let you pretend to raise a child, be thankful. Simon's tired of you, too. Maybe he's already moved on. A chill ran down my spine. Could Simon really? He used to be home every night. Now, these business trips had become frequent and long. I'll go tonight, I said, grabbing my bag and walking aimlessly through the city. I called Simon. No answer. Again and again. Eventually, I called his office. He's off for a few days, they said. Just like she claimed. My stomach turned. Wandering through the streets, I found myself outside an old tavern, the one we used to go to after moving here. It's still here, I whispered, stepping inside. Long time no see, the owner said. 8 years, right? Yeah, I used to come here with my husband. I remember. Beer and grilled chicken, please. As I sipped and scrolled my phone, a photo popped up. Michael, 18. In the slim suit we'd chosen together. We had once tried to be a family. My chest tightened. The beer washed away some of the bitterness. I opened my browser, searched for moving companies, booked one, saved a few junk buyers, changed my wallpaper. Just then, a young waitress approached. Are you Mrs. Thompson? I recognized your phone wallpaper. She leaned in, hesitant but determined. I think your husband is having an affair with one of our staff. I thought you should know. We exchanged numbers. She promised to keep me informed. So it was true. Oddly, I didn't feel heartbroken. I felt furious. I went home and packed, booked the movers for the next day. When they arrived, I told them firmly, take everything I bought, leave nothing behind. My mother-in-law looked horrified. I'm just doing what you asked, I said, barely hiding my smile. She protested, yelled, but the movers kept going. By the time they were done, only baby items and her pre-marriage dresser were left. Well, I said calmly, Enjoy your new life, with Simon, Michael, and his perfect little family. I placed the keys on the table and walked out, finally free. That night, I stayed with a colleague. And for the first time in years, I felt a strange, beautiful peace. I slept soundly that night. A week passed in silence, until my husband finally called. I couldn't help but wonder if he'd spent the time scheming with that woman. But before I could think too deeply about it, the young waitress from the tavern reached out again. I got a B-shot. I'll send it to you. Attached was a photo, my husband, Simon, laughing over drinks with a woman, older, not young, but clearly not me. Another photo followed, both of them entering a hotel together. Even now, he was cheating. And with that, any lingering attachment I had for him vanished completely. I asked for the woman's name, had her address traced. I was ready to face everything. The next day, Simon called again. Anna, where are you? Michael and his family are here. Aren't you coming back? No, I replied. Your mother told me to leave. I'm not coming back. Michael and his family are living with you now, right? So, it was true. Michael and Sarah needed a place to stay. I'd heard the stories, odd jobs, part-time work, no stability. I want you back, Anna, Simon said desperately. The pharmacy told me you took time off. Please, just come home. I'm fine, don't worry. Your mom and Michael didn't want me there, remember? I'm sure they're thrilled now. My words hit him like a slap. For years, he pretended not to see how I was treated. I need to talk to you, he said after a pause. I'll come to you. A few days later, I returned to the house for the first time. New furniture, a few extra appliances. Michael and Sarah were sprawled on the couch. They didn't even stand to greet me, just nodded. My mother-in-law glared as if I were a ghost trespassing in her temple. The air was tight with resentment. Just as I prepared to leave quickly, Michael snapped. What are you doing here? You took everything when you left. Who does that? Dad supported you for years, and you acted like a spoiled brat. I sighed. I took what I paid for. I removed myself, just like you all wanted. No way you could afford all that just working part-time, Simon said. He looked defeated, resigned to the truth. We've been living off both our incomes for years, he admitted. So it should belong to both of you, Michael argued. I turned to him, calm but firm. Simon's salary dropped significantly. His company's struggling. For the past 5 years, I've covered the shortfall, and now I pay the rent. My mother-in-law's expression shifted in shock. I'm not just a part-timer. I'm a licensed pharmacist. I make more than Simon. Simon looked away, ashamed. His mother stared at him, speechless. So, I continued, Michael, you'll be paying rent now. This is your home, right? After everything your grandmother's done for you, it's your turn to support her. Michael blinked. Rent? How much? $5,600. Best of luck. You said you're done being a mother, right? I added. Then I'm done taking care of you. You're about to be a father, start acting like one. Michael's voice dropped to a whisper. That's impossible. Sarah's eyes widened. Wait, what? I thought we were living here for free, covering rent and expenses? I couldn't help but laugh. Don't worry, Sarah, you can find a cheaper place. Simon still earns enough. I looked at Simon and added, though things might get tougher with your mistress. That made Sarah freeze. What did you say? Simon stammered. Sarah looked down. Your mother told me about the affair. I guess I'm done being a wife too. Simon's mask shattered. He hadn't expected her to know, or for me to have proof. Wouldn't Mary be upset if she heard this? I said casually. He stiffened. Now he knew. I had names, dates, photos. There was no point talking further. Well then, I said, standing, let's handle everything through our lawyers. Simon and Michael said nothing. My mother-in-law suddenly slammed the table. This is all your fault. You ruined this home. I was done. You told me to leave. You told me Simon had another woman. You sabotaged my relationship with Michael. Don't act like the victim now. For a moment, I regretted not being more assertive, not protecting my bond with Michael from her interference. Michael is grown now. Simon, you should support your son. That's your role. What nonsense. If she hadn't brought Michael back or hinted at Simon's cheating, I'd still be holding this house together. "Where are you, Michael?" she cried. "Why are you upstairs hiding? This is all her fault." I slipped past her trembling frame and walked out the door. The divorce was finalized swiftly. Simon didn't put up a fight. The proof was undeniable, and my resolve was stronger than ever. Michael and Sarah moved back to their own apartment. They never lived with my mother-in-law after that. Simon's been trying to rebuild his life with Mary, but she's furious about the alimony and refuses to live with his mother. Now they're discussing placing his mother in a care home. After all that devotion, she's being cast aside. Maybe her usefulness has run out, too. If she hadn't said a word, if this had been a normal visit for childbirth, maybe we'd all still be under the same roof. A few weeks later, I received a letter from Michael. It was an apology. He wrote that as a child, he had longed for warmth, that he was afraid to talk to me because of his grandmother, that he remembered how happy he was when I showed up for school events. Maybe if I had pushed harder, fought for a real connection, things would have been different. Though our bond is broken, I genuinely wish him happiness. I've gone back to work full-time, found a cozy apartment near the pharmacy. As for the furniture, I donated it. I wanted a fresh start. Life without her constant judgment is peaceful. For now, I'm choosing to live for my happiness, not theirs.